In the 7th century CE, the Arabian Peninsula witnessed the rise of a new religious and socio-political force, Islam. This transformation began with the charismatic and honest Islamic prophet Muhammad, who, from 610 CE onward, preached a monotheistic faith called Islam in his hometown of Mecca. Muhammad's teachings emphasized equality, egalitarianism, and equal rights for women, challenging the economic framework and social hierarchy that prevailed in Mecca. These ideas resonated with many, drawing them to Islam. However, the Meccan authorities, threatened by this shift, subjected Muslims to severe persecution and discrimination. Despite the persecution, Muhammad's following grew steadily. When the Meccan opposition became intolerable, Muhammad and his followers migrated to the city of Medina in 621 CE. Medina extended an invitation, offering Muhammad sovereignty over the city, effectively making him the first ruler and king of what would later become the Islamic or Muslim Empire. The struggle between Medina and Mecca eventually culminated in the conquest of Mecca in 630 CE. The fall of Mecca marked a turning point, as major Arabian cities started to submit to the authority of the Prophet. Cities like Taif, which had once opposed Muhammad's teachings, surrendered to his rule in 631 CE. Various opposing forces and confederacies attempted to crush the Muslim forces, but they were repeatedly defeated in battles such as Khaybar in 628 CE and Hunain in 630 CE. By the time of Muhammad's death in 632 CE, he ruled over an empire in its early stages, one that would be expanded and strengthened by his successors. Following the death of Muhammad, the Islamic Empire faced a significant threat as many advocated for a return to pre-Islamic forms of self-governance. This crisis was averted when Abu Bakr declared himself the Caliph of the Prophet, becoming the first supreme ruler of the Islamic realm. One of Abu Bakr's early actions was to avenge the defeat at the Battle of Mu'tah, where a Muslim envoy had been killed. This expedition achieved its goal, effectively avenging the injustice and dishonor. However, the Arabian Peninsula soon descended into rebellion as different factions sought self-rule. Abu Bakr skillfully capitalized on their disunity and, within a year, managed to quell the opposition forces in a series of conflicts known as the Ridda Wars. Key to the success of these campaigns was Khalid ibn al-Walid, a brilliant Muslim strategist. He played a crucial role in defeating the strongest opposition force led by a false prophet named Musaylima at the Battle of al-Yamama in December 632 CE. The defeat at al-Yamama weakened the rebels, and by March 633 CE, order was restored. Abu Bakr's decisive actions had saved the prophet's empire and faith, solidifying his authority and reputation as a hero. With order re-established, Abu Bakr set his sights on expanding the empire beyond the Arabian Peninsula. The Muslim Empire now bordered the Byzantine and Sasanian empires, both of which had been weakened by prolonged conflict and internal strife. For Abu Bakr, this presented an opportune moment for further expansion, even if the full extent of this opportunity was not yet realized. And in the midst of the Ridda Wars, an Arab chieftain named Muthanna ibn al-Harita brought to the attention of the Caliph Abu Bakr a remarkable opportunity. He revealed the vulnerability of Sasanian Iraq, a weakness that the Caliph could not ignore. Eager to capitalize on this opening, Abu Bakr dispatched his accomplished commander Khalid to launch a raid into Iraq in 633 CE. Khalid's strategy involved sticking to the western side of the Euphrates River, where he achieved significant success. As they ventured deeper into Sasanian territory, Khalid and Muthanna enlisted the support of enthusiastic locals who joined their ranks. This collaboration with local populations and their tactical prowess helped the Muslims counter Sasanian advances in the conquered regions. Around the same time, another Rashidun invasion force was making significant gains in Syria, but faced the looming threat of a substantial Byzantine counterattack. Faced with this new development, Abu Bakr decided to send Khalid to reinforce the Syrian front and solidify Muslim control. In Khalid's absence, another Muslim commander, Abu Ubad al-Thaqafi, decided to take on a powerful Sasanian force against the advice of Muthanna. This led to a disastrous defeat for the Muslims at the Battle of the Bridge in October 634 CE. Abu Ubad lost his life in the battle, but Muthanna skillfully managed an orderly retreat and maintained his position west of the Euphrates until reinforcements arrived from Medina. In 634 CE, Abu Bakr passed away, and Umar ibn al-Khattab succeeded him as the second caliph of the Islamic Empire. Umar immediately reinforced the Iraqi front by sending fresh troops commanded by the esteemed companion of the Prophet, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. The Sassanians, too, were determined to reclaim their lost territories in Iraq. Rustam Farrokhzad, a renowned warrior and strategist, emerged from retirement to face the growing Muslim army. The pivotal year was 636 CE when Sa'd's forces received reinforcements from Syria. Despite the numerical advantage of the Sassanian army and superior equipment, the Rashidun soldiers displayed unmatched skill in close combat. At the outset, Rustam believed his superior numbers guaranteed victory, and this seemed true in the early days of the Battle of Al-Qadisiyah. However, a twist of fate occurred when some Muslim cavalry troops infiltrated the Sassanian lines during a sandstorm and killed the valiant general. Rustam's death had a demoralizing effect on his troops, who, despite their numerical superiority, began to retreat and were ultimately defeated. With this triumph, the Sassanians lost control over Iraq, allowing the Rashidun forces to swiftly advance, even capturing Ctesiphon, the Sassanian capital located in modern-day Iran, far from their heartland in Khorasan. The last Sassanian king, Yazdegerd III, raised a formidable army to confront the Muslims. However, this massive force also suffered defeat in the Battle of Nahavand in 642 CE. Despite this victory, Caliph Umar urged his forces to consolidate their gains and avoid further advances into Iran, displaying caution to prevent a major setback. The triumph at Nahavand brought abundant war booty to Medina but also triggered an act of revenge as Caliph Umar was assassinated in 644 CE by a Persian slave named Lulu, seeking to avenge the losses of his kingdom. Umar's successor, Uthman, continued the military expansion initiated by his predecessors. Meanwhile, Yazdegerd III, who had fled to eastern parts of his kingdom, met his end at the hands of a local assassin in Merv in 651 CE. With his death, any hope of resisting the Muslim advance faded away. The Rashidun Empire rapidly extended its dominion to the east, eventually reaching as far as Sindh, a region in present-day Pakistan. As the Arabian Peninsula came together under the banner of Islam by 633 CE, the world witnessed the rise of a new, formidable force, the Rashidun Caliphate. The Arabs, who had long been divided and underestimated, found a unifying cause in their faith and were prepared to embark on a just and holy struggle, unafraid of death as they believed it would grant them martyrdom. Under the leadership of Caliph Abu Bakr, 4 divisions under skilled commanders were dispatched to raid Syria and the Levant: Shurahbil ibn Hassana, Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan, Amr ibn Alas, and Abu Ubaidah. These divisions were initially successful, but soon they faced a formidable Byzantine army led by Emperor Heraclius's brother, Theodore. To bolster their efforts, Abu Bakr ordered Khalid, known for his military prowess, to advance to Syria. Khalid, utilizing his exceptional strategic skills, united the 4 divisions and defeated the Byzantine army at the Battle of Ain Adain in 634 CE. However, when Umar became the caliph, he replaced Khalid with Abu Ubaidah for more direct control over the campaign. Nonetheless, the Rashidun forces continued their northward expansion in the Levant and Syria. They captured Damascus, defeated the Palestinian Imperial Division at the Battle of Fal, and conquered Emesa, Homs, bringing them dangerously close to Aleppo and Antioch, where Emperor Heraclius was residing. In response to Theodore's early defeat, Heraclius sent another significant army under Vahan of Armenia to confront the Rashidun troops. In a twist of fate, Khalid, though not officially in command, was given charge due to his military expertise. He led the Muslim forces in a strategic retreat beyond the Yarmouk River, setting the stage for the Battle of Yarmouk in August 636 CE. This epic battle lasted for 6 days, with the Muslims initially on the defensive. However, on the climactic dawn of August 20, 636 CE, Khalid ordered an advance and enveloped the Byzantine forces with his cavalry. The imperial troops panicked and suffered heavy casualties, with their field commander likely losing his life in the battle. Following this decisive victory, the Muslims continued to sweep over Syria, Jordan, and Palestine. With the Byzantines no longer posing a significant threat to the region, victorious Muslim troops were dispatched to the Iraqi front to reinforce ongoing campaigns. In 637 CE, Jerusalem was besieged and surrendered, peacefully entering Muslim control. The return of the Jewish population, banished by the Romans 5 centuries earlier, was allowed. Later, Caliph Umar officially dismissed Khalid from his post, possibly due to personal reasons or controversies surrounding the general. Before his dismissal, Khalid led expeditions into Anatolia and Armenia in 638 CE. He passed away in 642 CE and was laid to rest in Emesa. Abu Ubaidah, appointed as the governor of Syria, succumbed to the plague that swept through the region in 639 CE. In his place, Muawiyah, the son of Abu Sufyan, an influential Meccan aristocrat who had converted to Islam, was dispatched to take over. Muawiyah effectively consolidated Muslim control over the region and later, during the reign of the third caliph, Uthman, extended his rule to Armenia in 653 to 655 CE. Amr ibn al-As, one of the 4 commanders initially sent to the Byzantine frontier by Abu Bakr, recognized an opportunity for another conquest in Egypt. The Byzantines had held Egypt under their dominion, but their repressive policies had alienated the population. Persuading Caliph Umar was a challenge, but the strategic importance of cutting off this region from the Byzantines ultimately convinced him. In 640 CE, Amr and Zubair ibn al-Awwam engaged an imperial army at Heliopolis, securing a resounding victory. Over the next 2 years, the Rashidun army captured most of Egypt. Caliph Uthman allowed regional governors to expand their territories independently. In 646 CE, a major Byzantine counterattack at Alexandria was successfully repelled with the support of the local population. In the Battle of Sufetula in 647 CE, the Rashidun forces wrested control of part of the North African strip beyond Tripoli from Byzantine rule. Leveraging their shipbuilding expertise, the Syrians played a crucial role in constructing a formidable Rashidun fleet that could challenge Byzantine naval authority in the Mediterranean. After defeating a Byzantine fleet attempting to retake Alexandria in 646 CE, the Muslims embarked on an offensive campaign. They captured Cyprus in 649 CE, followed by Rhodes in 654 CE. In 655 CE, the Byzantine naval might was decisively crushed in the Battle of the Masts. The Muslims enjoyed uncontested control over the Mediterranean, enabling them to send raiding parties as far as Crete and Sicily. At its zenith, the Rashidun Caliphate stretched from parts of North Africa in the west to regions of modern-day Pakistan in the east. Several Mediterranean islands also came under their influence. They emerged as a dominant force and the primary influencer in the region. However, this expansion was halted in 656 CE when Caliph Uthman was assassinated. His successor, Caliph Ali, faced the daunting task of restoring order during a period of turmoil known as the First Fitna, 656 to 661 CE. Yet, his own life ended in assassination at the hands of a radical group called the Caliphates in 661 CE. Following Ali's death, the governor of Syria, Muawiyah, assumed power and ushered in the Umayyad dynasty, 661 to 750 CE. Although they faced initial challenges, the Umayyads resumed the expansion initiated by their predecessors. The Byzantines and Sasanians, considered superpowers of their time, had been weakened by years of warfare. They employed mercenaries who did not share the same passion for their client state as the Arabs did for the Caliphate. Moreover, multi-ethnic armies lacked the cohesion fostered by a single faith and a unified national identity. However, one of the most significant factors contributing to their downfall was the manner in which they governed their provinces. As the Rashidun forces advanced, they received support from enthusiastic volunteers, including many who indirectly backed the Muslims. Capable military leaders like Khalid ibn al-Walid within their ranks were a stroke of fortune for the Arabs. The early Muslim expansion was driven by the strength they derived from Islam and the unique circumstances in which it unfolded.